What is up, guys? Welcome back to the career mode on this channel. It's been about a week, I'd say, than the last episode, but in reality it's been a lot longer since I've actually sat down, edited and done a career mode. So we're back to our usual strength with in terms of the graphics and stuff like that goes on the side of the video, just the general quality. And obviously, you know, we're on F1 2017. So this is probably the only career mode on YouTube for an F1 season that spans 3 different games. So from Australia to Spain, we did it on 2014. 2016, we did Monaco up to Hungary. And now from Belgium onwards, we're going to be on 2017. But Lewis Hamilton did get pole position. So I'm not sure how many pole positions he has in terms of his record on this, but we're going to go with it and just say he's probably broken it. Most likely not, but we're not doing too bad. We started P12. Back as Pierre Gasly. Nico Carey has been dropped from Red Bull in real life and obviously on this as well. So Nico Carey is no longer a Red Bull junior driver or Toro Rosso driver, etc. But obviously, if you cast your mind back to Canada, Pierre Gasly had an awful crash in only his second run-in as well. He raced in Monaco and then Canada, and in Canada he got absolutely destroyed by Felipe Massa, who also got a, I think it was a 3-race ban for Azerbaijan, a 4-race ban, sorry, from there. So we're back as Pierre Gasly, back in his Toro Rosso, which is slightly different. It looks so much different to the Toro Rosso he was driving, obviously, at the beginning of the season. But you can see previous winners, last 2 seasons has been Mercedes, then Red Bull, then McLaren, Red Bull, McLaren. And then back in 7, 8, and 9 was Ferrari. So looking to see what we can do here. Hamilton's looking really strong. The gap isn't that much different in the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. However, Kimi's still looking strong. So as long as Kimi has a good race, Kimi should be absolutely fine. We're going to do what we can to get up the Drivers' standards for ourselves. As having 4 races off, we are a little bit down in terms of placings in the constructors and drivers. So we're going to do what we can. We're ready for the 5 lights to go out, and we are underway. We've got the Haas just ahead of us. We have also got our teammate not too far away from us at all, but we've got a Williams actually going down the inside. That's Lance Stroll being incredibly brave. We still have Grosjean on our inside. We've got Hulkenberg just ahead of us, who does go slow, so we're going to go 3 wide down the stretch to Eau Rouge. And I don't think we're actually going to get 3 wide around the Rouge, but we're definitely going to go side by side with Romain Grosjean, and we're going to hold it in. We're both going to stick our cars there. We're not going to let up, but we do get ahead of the Frenchman on this occasion. But luckily for us, that was a very hairy situation, especially at the beginning of the lap. But we're on the ultra soft tyres, as opposed to everyone around us on the super soft. It was a wet qualifying, hence why everyone's more or less running the slow tyre. But when we did the championship race round here, I found the strategy that worked really well. So I've gone for that again. That won't be up until... It won't be up for a while. But in any case, we're just going to go along here and just do what we can. Pick off all the cars on the super soft. So that's Perez gone. So we've made up 4 places in just over a little bit of a lap. We've got Max Verstappen, who is ahead at the moment. We're going to look on lap 2. We've got Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas, who are both going after each other coming in to this section of the circuit, and they're going to go side by side through all of these corners. And it's going to be a bit difficult for Valtteri Bottas to get past Vettel with that engine that he does have in the back of that prancing horse, but he manages to hold on to the position. DRS is now enabled. We're going to have a look at Verstappen as we come into the hairpin. We've got Daniel Ricciardo, who's not too far away from, I believe that's Lance Stroll or Felipe Massa. So Williams are going really well around here in terms of their pure pace. And speaking of pure pace, Valtteri Bottas has caught up to Vettel so much. So it looks like Vettel might be a sitting duck here on the back straight. Bottas has got his DRS wide open. They're going to go side by side again into this corner, but Vettel just managing to make it work through pure grip and determination. Like, he is just not moving along, and somehow he's actually managing to maintain his position and not actually concede the position to Bottas, even though he's not on the inside. But fair play to him. We've got Esteban Ocon and Nico Hulkenberg now, who are battling in the same position where Vettel and Bottas were not too long ago in this lap. But this time Ocon does make the inside line work, which does turn to the outside. But Esteban Ocon has got his elbows out, trying to get into the points, as Sergio Perez is currently in the points. So Sergio Perez is doing a solid job. We still haven't passed Ricciardo at this point. He's catching up to the Williams, but the Williams is so pacey in a straight line. It's not fair compared to the Red Bull, and obviously we have basically the same engine that Ricciardo has. We just have better tyres. We're going to go side by side. We're going to try for a switchback, but we just lose the car on acceleration, so that didn't work out quite as we planned. But we still have DRS, which is the important thing. We're probably going to do to Max Verstappen what we're going to do here to Daniel Ricciardo, and I think he lets us through to an extent. He kind of backed off a lot earlier. So that's nice. I mean, inter-team relationships. But yet again, Valtteri Bottas is still trying to get past Sebastian Vettel. But Sebastian Vettel, I don't think is going to have it again. Bottas squeezed him a little bit tighter this time. But we can't see Vettel at this point. And there he is. And he's actually still alongside now. Bottas will have the inside line for the corner if he can get alongside. But I think Vettel has just about got enough of his car ahead. Kimi Raikkonen just sat there watching this, hoping that they collide. And Kimi can take that second place to reduce the points deficit that Hamilton will gain if he stays ahead. But these two are still going at it side by side. But Vettel has just about pinched it in terms of getting his car ahead of Valtteri Bottas. So Kimi Raikkonen could make a move on Valtteri Bottas. But we're going to come through on the end of lap 4. And we're going to make our pit stop. It's a little bit of a weird strategy. But at the time, it made perfect sense to me. And it was just exactly what I wanted to do in a sense. Like, when I did it in the championship mode, it worked perfectly fine. Bearing in mind, at that time, they didn't have Ultra Softs on the car. But we're going to have a look on Max Verstappen's POV. And you can see he's actually closing up to his teammate quite rapidly. I know he's got DRS, but even still, that Red Bull is looking really fast in a straight line compared to his teammates. Now, Max Verstappen hasn't had the best luck in real life. And he's had a little bit better luck here in this career mode, but hopefully that bad luck does not translate into this, because Max Verstappen is going side by side with Ricciardo all the way through these turns, and it's just nice to see these two teammates actually battling each other and actually fighting for the positions that I guess in some sense of the word they actually do deserve, because they have been so fast at the beginning of the season and now they are just nowhere in terms of actually fighting for race wins. But we've got Marcus Ericsson, I believe, just ahead of us. So it could be Pascal Wehrlein, but I can't see because this preview screen is so small. But we're going to cruise up to the back of the Sauber car, and we're just going to pull alongside. We're almost banging tyres at that point. We're going to cruise along past him as we try and make as much ground as possible as we come out the pit lane. And not too far later, we actually have Stoffel Van Dorn, who is going to get overtaken in a part of the track that really you shouldn't get overtaken on. It's just for the fact that he's got a McLaren Honda in the back of his car. That means he's kind of a bit slower than normal, but you shouldn't be overtaken in that part of the track. No one ever overtakes there. But we're going to come across the line and we're going to gain 1 or 2 positions for the cars that are in the pit lane, and we cruise up to the back of both of the Renaults. Now, I doubt we're going to go side by side with these two through Eau Rouge like we did at lap 1 with Hulkenberg, but we're just going to cruise up to the back of Jolyon Palmer, try and gain on him through Eau Rouge while he gains on Nico Hulkenberg. We're going to have our DRS open, as is Palmer, so if Palmer makes a move, I'm going to have to go all the way to the right hand side, and indeed, it looks like Palmer is going to make a move, and he does. So we're going to go 3 wide into this braking zone, and we're just going to have to hug the apex just to make sure we don't make any contact. I'm not sure if Palmer actually gets that move done, but it was a pretty hairy incident. If that had gone wrong, it would have been really, really bad for both of us. But we've got both of the Red Bulls still line astern, Verstappen still ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. And there's actually a yellow flag, so I wonder why there's a yellow flag. It doesn't look like there's any issues, and as I say that, Max Verstappen does pull to the right-hand side and actually retires his car. So it looks like it has translated into this game. Poor Max Verstappen. On the other end of the spectrum, we've got Lewis Hamilton, who is leading the race. So he is absolutely out in front. There's not much of a competition for him at this point in time. We've got Vettel in the background with Bottas and Raikkonen firmly behind, but Hamilton is in a league of his own at this stage of the race, and we're just over halfway, I'd say. So Lewis Hamilton looks like he has this in the bag. This man needs to pull his finger out, because he's going to be losing quite a fair bit of points to Lewis Hamilton at this point. And as I say that, at the same part of the track that Verstappen went out on, Kimi blows his engine and retires and parks up at the exact same point as Max Verstappen. So that's not good for him. But we've got Hamilton and Vettel pitting on the same lap just to get rid of those old super soft tyres and put on some brand spanking new ultra soft tyres. So And that means we have a new race leader. And in fact, it's going to be Lewis Hamilton's teammate who will inherit the lead, as obviously he was the one running in third place. So Valtteri Bottas does take the lead of the Belgium Grand Prix. He's going to have to do some amazing in-lap to try and actually jump Vettel. I'm not sure that's going to happen, as Vettel's going to be on the ultra soft tyre and Bottas still on old super softs. See, that was the problem with my strategy. If I hadn't worried about that, it would have been fine. But we're going to gain a few positions on cars that are in the pit lane. We're going to come out just trying to catch up to Ocon as best as we can. We're up to P7. We was in P5 before this, P6, sorry. But obviously with Verstappen and Kimi retiring, we should be able to get maybe about a P4. But we do have Ricciardo and Palmer actually going not quite side by side through a Rouge, but I think Ricciardo didn't want to risk it. I mean, he is battling Palmer, and Palmer's one of the last drivers you want to be battling with because he might knock you off the road. I'm just going to leave that bit there. We're not going to abuse Palmer too much this race. We abuse him enough in the Championship Series, but we are catching up to Esteban Ocon, who is having a really, really poor race in terms of where he is and where he's at. He still hasn't pit yet. He's in P6. Still got to make a pit stop at least, but we're just going to make his day a lot worse by going down his inside and just taking it off of him. I mean, he has performed really well up to this point at the first half of the season, but I don't think it's really going to work out for him too much. But we have Romain Grosjean, who also pitted on the same lap as us on lap 4. So we're running the same strategy. He's a bit further behind us, but he's looking to overtake Marcus Ericsson, who's just going to cruise up alongside. I mean, he has got a year-old Ferrari engine, but it's not that difference in pace, I don't think. It's not as bad as, say, the McLaren Honda engine, so they're not doing too bad. Or Sauber. They've only got 2 points so far, but I'm sure they can improve. We've got Valtteri Bottas, who is now coming in as well. So Lewis Hamilton is set to take the lead back, I assume. We're going to see our teammate and Lance Stroll go into the pit lane, and we get a little bit too close to our teammate, for a bit too close for comfort. But we are going to inherit P4 as Massa is, or has pitted, I should say. But here's Ocon coming out of the pit lane, and he's going to be challenged by the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. So Esteban Ocon's going to have some work straight out of the pit lane on cold tyres. But I'm pretty sure Kevin Magnussen is on super softs, and in fact he is. So the Haas car's running identical strategies basically, but it hasn't seemed to have helped out Kevin Magnussen, as they are battling just outside the points. They're battling for 12th and 13th, I think. So Esteban Ocon and Kevin Magnussen not battling for points, but you can see that Ocon still wants to get up the field as best as he can. I mean, Carlos Sainz isn't too far away, and he is in 11th, and Lance Stroll, I think, is just behind Romain Grosjean, who was in 9th and 10th. So we've got Nico Hulkenberg, who is another driver who is having a really poor race. I'm not sure if he's got any mechanical issues with his car, but the fact that he's just battling the Saubers on the same tyre as well, it just shows that he's had a really poor race. He just hasn't had the speed. I mean, Jolyon Palmer's had better speed, but it's nothing to like really draw any attention to anyone's cars. Like, they're just not got, they haven't got the pace really. It's a bit disappointing for Renault, as the next lap later Pascal Ferdinand's actually going to go for an overtake as well, and I assume it's going to be virtually similar. So whether he's just he must have something wrong with his car in a straight line, because he just can't get anywhere near the speed to get away from the Saubers or just pull any acceleration out of the corners. I mean, he's been running fine all season, like in terms of his teammate. Palmer's only just ahead of him in the drivers, but Renault definitely need to pull their socks up and try and get some performance. But we are on a little bit further into the Grand Prix. We haven't got much longer left. We've got Lance Stroll and Romain Grosjean, and this is for the points. This is for the final few points of the Grand Prix, and it looks to me as if Lance Stroll wants to better his position. Instead of getting 1 point, get 2 and finish on 9th place ahead of Romain Grosjean. Now, Lance Stroll does have the ultra soft tyres, and Romain Grosjean has super soft, so this could be a very important factor when it comes to actually making a move, and he's actually going to hold the apex a lot tighter than Grosjean can, thanks to those purple tyres, and Lance Stroll is actually going to get ahead of Romain Grosjean, so fair play to him. Carlos Sainz, I don't think, will pick up the 10th place, which would help us out. But we do have Lewis Hamilton, who is our race leader, coming through the final corner, and he's going to take the win here in Belgium, and he's going to take 25 points over Kimi Räikkönen, who is second. So Kimi will be pushed down to second in the championship, and he'll have a 20-point deficit to try and regain back up. So Lewis Hamilton really did well, and then ourselves managed to come home in 4th place. Massa couldn't quite catch up to us in time. Maybe 1 or 2 laps and he might have taken us, but Sergio Perez, well done to him. He actually finishes in the points for the first time since Australia. Now that is a long time ago, back in, I want to say, February. So that's been a long old time. That's been about 6 months, give or take. But Lewis Hamilton does win. He did a fantastic job. He was in his own class as usual. When he's out in front, he just goes. Vettel did catch up a little bit. I'll give him that, but it wasn't anything to really shout about. But Lewis Hamilton does take the lead in the drivers. Bottas jumps Vettel as well. Verstappen and Ricciardo falling off quite a bit, to be fair. Ourselves only in 15th place, so we need to gain some ground and get into the top 10 at least in terms of the drivers. But Mercedes have got a pretty healthy gap to Ferrari. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this career mode, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Until next video, bye bye.